Are you a sweet boy? I think you're a sweet boy. I think you are indeed a sweet boy there, Zukov. Zukov, this is such a sweet little boy. Oh my goodness. You sweet little puppy boy. Oh. You have like different little drum sounds. You have like a little hollow beat there, then a nice little thick beat here. Little boy. Just a sweet good little boy. Yes you is. Yes you is, old Zukov. Oh. You want up here? Come on. Come on. Hey, oh, I'm bloody. Hi. Hello, you sweet thing. Hi. What are you doing? What you doing, you sweetum? What you doing, boy? Oh, you just so cute. So much thick fluffiness. You're so cute. You're so silly. What are you doing? Can we stop? Can you stop that? Goofball. Look at you. You're so cute. You're being so sweet and ridiculous. What? What, you goof? There. I'll get you a little bit of this. Why? Sit. Stay. Good boy. Oh, so cute. Just being a good boy there. Sit. Oh, you're already sitting. Paw. Give me a paw. Paw. No, paw. It's not exactly a paw, but okay. I suppose it works. Hey, no. Stay. Up. Jeez Louise, my dude. What the fuck? Kablanc? Yay, up. You know what? No, never mind. I don't even want to risk it. God damn, bro. Jeez, buddy. Nuts. You nuts, dude? Jeez. Versus Zukov and the Unicycle Bears. Dude, just fucking like smacking the entire goddamn table trying to get a fucking some turkey. Just watch the Adam some video that's in the group chat. Yeah, I saw that. I actually saw it recommended to me earlier, but I haven't gotten a chance to check it yet. His son and Kyle. So, really? Was he just... Oh, I guess I'll have to watch. I mean, at least for, like... I mean, at least for, like... this song, I don't know. Great fan something. I mean, from what I understand about song sakes, isn't it just basically like the ocean be fucking involved? Just because of like the NATO expansionism and amongst our bullshit. So like, at least as far as I'm concerned, you see, like, he's also, vehemently against it. Like, at least out of the entire Ukraine-Russia situation, Vosh has, like, the fucking worst, because he's literally, like, pretty much going Dick Cheney about it. Pretty much being, like, a total war hawk. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, at least when it comes to, like, at least those three, I mean, they have nowhere near, as shitty as takes in comparison to, Vosh and some others. I don't like the guy. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't necessarily blame him. He's alright sometimes, but, I mean, he can get pretty shitty in a lot of other ways. Hey, what are you doing? Again, especially with this whole Russian-Ukrainian thing. What are we going to do about the Russian question, my guy? Kind of hard to walk that back, considering it's only one ethnic group away from being a little bit of a very staunch, horribly anti-Semitic statement. So, Hey, Stooks, don't. Hey. Hey, no. Don't. Hey, no. Don't. Don't do that. No. Look at that tail. Oh my god. What's up, bro? Oh, now you want a belly rub. No, you just want a belly rub. You're a freak. At least he's a chillin'. Yeah, I guess I'll check out this clip here.
Russian invasion of Ukraine. Is the threat real, or is it just geopolitical posturing? If the threat is real, then Putin is really taking his sweet time, isn't he? If it's just posturing, then why does Putin keep it up still, even after his ultimatums have been rejected? As you might have guessed, there is no one-word answer to the question. All I can give you is a better idea of the situation, so let's get into it. First, let's reiterate some points I made in a community post earlier. This is needed to make sure we are on the same wavelength. You know, I can make all the arguments I want, but if someone believes that NATO was about to invade Russia or something, then it's all for nothing. Point number one, NATO is a defensive alliance. Countries join NATO by popular vote. When people use the term NATO expansion, what they mean, or what they should mean, is sovereign countries voting to join. Number two, NATO will never invade Russia. Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet. If NATO invades Russia, the world ends. Nobody wants that. Number three, the Russian elite...
I don't know about necessarily just the world ending, but considering that there's multiple nuclear arms at the table when it comes to a conflict like that, it's kind of a no shit.
will never invade Russia. Fear of NATO expansion is just a cover for the actual goal, which is the rebuilding of the former Russian/Soviet sphere of influence. Some people want to treat Russia like some scared and confused animal without any agency of its own, lashing out against a perceived threat. However, this is an exotic misunderstanding of the situation. Number 4. If Russia feels threatened by sovereign countries joining a defensive alliance, that's Russia's problem. Imagine an abusive ex-husband feeling insecure about his ex-wife taking self-defense courses after he assaulted her multiple times following their divorce. Number 5. If Russia doesn't want NATO to expand, they shouldn't have created a puppet state inside Moldavia in 1992, shouldn't have invaded Georgia in 2008, shouldn't have annexed Crimea in 2014, and shouldn't have maintained a low-intensity conflict in the Donbass since 2014. Number 6. It is possible to be critical of both US and Russian imperialism.
I mean, that can just be said to both sides, honestly.
At the same time. In fact, you should be.
It's just like, I mean, with, you know, like, I mean, to point out all the different wrongs that, you know, Russia's done during, you know, between then and now, I mean, it's like, I'm sure people can literally list off different shit that NATO's done too.
That both are bad, and acknowledge that the Russian imperialism is worse. After all, both powers engage in foreign interventions, but at least the US doesn't annex neighboring countries or threaten them militarily. US imperialism tends to
Wait, what?
acknowledge that the Russian imperialism is worse. After all, both powers engage in foreign interventions, but at least the US doesn't annex neighboring countries or threaten them militarily. US...
Okay, he's just wrong there. Yeah, we fucking threaten countries militarily all the time. What do you think we did in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, and places like in Venezuela, North Korea? Of course we do. Like, huh? At least we don't threaten other countries militarily. Of course, that's like carte blanche for how we fucking work around here when it comes to third world developing nations. Like we're fucking massive saber rattlers. We do it with other, you know, even other, you know, powerful nations and shit. Like, what? Of course we... Okay, that's just dead wrong.
To happen through soft power, i.e. capitalism, economic pressure, and so on, while Russian imperialism...
Okay, that's not soft. You're pawning off the fucking crimes of, you know, a lot of the militarism off to corporate privatized interests versus the actual government itself. I mean, you could just look at a lot of the fucking corporate exploitation that happens in the global south for that.
Earth.
The US ain't the only ones to take advantage of that, though.
Rolling in the tanks immediately after a country tries to drift away from their sphere of influence. See Hungary in 1956, Czechoslovakia in 1968, Ukraine in 2014, and so on. Number 7, for all the tankies out there, supporting geopolitical enemies of the US will not help bring about a leftist utopia. As bad as the US is in many regards, its geopolitical enemies are far worse. Russia is an oligarchic autocracy that rigs elections and jails political opponents, while China is a surveillance state tech dystopia. Since there is no third position, we choose the lesser of two evils because above 80 IQ, we do politics based on rationality, not raw emotions. And no, the US wanting to jail Snowden is not the same as Russia jailing Alexei Navalny. And then...
Okay, so now he's just trying to take a lot of, like, more direct, active, more radical side of leftism as just kind of like a pure emotional element. It's like, no shit, Russia bad, but to be like, oh my god, they're just so... It's starting to really feel like there's a lot of this, like, hey, you know, we got... It feels like the whole Trump Biden thing a little bit, where it's like, hey, this side's just that much worse, guys. Lesser two evils, yo. It honestly really feels like that a little bit right now, where it's like, yeah, just because, you know, one side is just that, you know, just so bad, doesn't mean it's like, your side's just that, you know, just a little better or something. America ain't, you know, good on this front. Neither is Russia. I mean, honestly, neither is NATO necessarily. So, I mean, but that doesn't mean that fucking, you know, one side should be supported versus the other. There's no winner or no good guy in this.
About Hassan Abi, who really should stay away from this subject because so far him offering any commentary on the Ukraine crisis did nothing but expose the disappointing limits of US-based leftist streamer bros. Okay, so now that we are hopefully on the same page, we are...
He didn't even address anything that he said. He, like, I was expecting a clip. Just kind of said that and then just moved on, I guess.
Invasion. Now, Russia has been synonymous for a while with disinformation and internet censorship, and a great way to counteract these is the services of today's sponsor, Atlas VPN.
Okay, fuck your sponsorship.
By clicking the link with a 30-day money back, it's my hope that we can all agree that what Russia is doing here is utterly unacceptable. acceptable
In a
both
different, much longer video? Okay.
legally and morally. And we haven't even talked about things like the Budapest Memorandum, a document Russia signed that guarantees Ukraine's territorial sovereignty in exchange for Ukrainians giving up their nukes. So yeah, let's not make excuses for Russia. Kyle, Hassan, because there are none. Let's move on to the threat of war itself.
Okay,
How
hold on.
realistic
He
is it?
pulled up some shit here.
Giving up their nukes. So yeah, let's not make excuses for Russia. Kyle, Hassan.
Okay. Okay, so first on, let's quote, dude, lethal aid, lol, that's crazy, bro. Let's not let countries join in because Russia don't like it. US bad. What? Okay, that doesn't even sound like something Hassan said. And Kyle's like, let's just throw these sovereign countries under the bus as buffer zones because appeasement is a good idea. I mean, at least that seems a little more accurate to Kyle's take, because that was at least a little bit more summary of his. But I mean, if he's like kind of hitting this off for like, yeah, let's not send like lethal aid and weapons and shit. It's like, yeah, kind of agree with that. Like, food, medicine, things like that, I'm not against.
The threat of war itself. How realistic is it? As you might have guessed, there is no short answer to the question, but I'll try my best to shed light on the matter. The chances for an invasion depend directly on two things: the strength of Ukraine's military and the intensity of Western sanctions, i.e. how much damage would Russia take militarily and economically. First, let's consider the Ukrainian military. Would they be able to stop a Russian invasion? Yes and no. Now, they improved a lot since 2014, and I really mean a lot. When the Donbass war started back then,
yes and no. Very, interesting answer.
they had around 3,000 actually deployable troops. Now they have between 150 and 200,000, plus a quarter of a million in reserve. Some sources mention 900,000 for the latter, but based on the Ukrainian sources I've read, the quarter of a million figure seems to be the correct one. In addition to that come the territorial defense forces, totaling at around 130,000. These are volunteers trained by Donbass veterans, tasked with supportive roles such as guarding local strategic objects, setting up checkpoints, and, if necessary, waging insurgency warfare against an invading force. Added to the pile is the National Guard, a sort of well-armed military police, numbering around 50,000 or so. Keep in mind that these numbers might change quickly, especially nowadays, though usually upward. In any case, for this analysis, they will suffice. So how about the Russian forces near Ukraine? Most current estimates put their numbers at around 130-150,000, so that doesn't look too bad, right? Looks like the Russians are outnumbered pretty heavily. However, the Russian military has around 1 million active personnel with 2 million in reserve. Added to this is the Russian National Guard with 340,000 personnel. So even though the troops on the border aren't such an overwhelming force, Russia has enormous reserves for a prolonged conflict. Meaning, if a longer invasion is to come, they can keep rotating fresh troops into Ukraine as the defenders slowly wear out.
Yeah, basically war of attrition. Honestly, like, if there were to be a conflict that will break out, that's honestly probably Russia's strategy. Just do a war of attrition. Because why would they need to just do like a mass fat aggressive push where that might cost, troops and resources, when they can just slowly hit the lines ever so slightly and just cycle reserves constantly and cycle equipment constantly, while the defenses in Ukraine just slowly get drained and drained and drained. So I mean, it's like, if there was like some like limited conflict situation or something like that, where there's maybe like troops that come in and aid and like volunteer regiments and shit like that from other nations, even with that in account, I mean, it would be a war of attrition at that rate. Being rational, similar to Trump in regards to military shit. Yeah, but at the same time, he also values his military generals and his leaders too, when it comes to the military. Just like Trump did to an extent. He loved the respecting the guys with all the fucking fancy medals on and ribbons and badges on their fucking military uniforms and shit. Putin does the same thing. He comes from that background. Like, yeah, because at least for Putin, there's more of a reason why, because he's legit from that background. He's ex-KGB. So, he has the understanding and a little bit of an idea about how military stratagem works, and is definitely going to listen to him. It's very similar to like strategy and associations from the Iranian general. Well, I mean, it sounds like it was due to an association with generals he's not familiar with working with, and probably didn't have the same skills and strategies that their troops are used to. But I don't know. That would be my guess. when you have a new commander coming in and overseeing things, you know, that's not necessarily one that's used to your doctrine, used to your doctrines and shit like that, and is enacting their own potentially, it's going to make things a little bit confusing and probably not flow as well when it comes to military operations. But depending on if Russia decides to go with the conflict, I mean, all in all, like, a war of attrition seems like their best case scenario. So, like, alright, we'll just slowly but surely, like, you know, go like a mile to a month or a week or some shit, ever so slowly, and just kind of drain them. Because, I mean, it wouldn't cost as much, you know, for resources for them, and it would be a little bit more costly for the defenses as well, because they could just continuously pick them off as they slowly made advances. But, you know, that just depends on if he goes with those type of strategies. See, there could be, you know, some, you know, his generals might be thinking, just blitzkrieg them. If we just overwhelm them and just blitzkrieg them or something like that, then they won't be able to have a real chance to react. So, I mean, if they have a lot of armor and a lot of, you know, aircraft and shit like that near the Ukrainian border, which they do, I mean, you know, chances are they probably would do that. And while that could potentially be more costly, depending on how prepared and ready the Ukrainian military is, which chances are they are. They're probably, you know, from what I understand, like a week ago or less than a week ago, there was military exercises near the Donbass that the Ukrainian military was doing. So, I mean, they're, all in all, they're kind of ready, you know, or at least getting there. But, I mean, honestly, though, like, at least so far with Fathom's video, like, I don't necessarily, like, dislike it. I don't necessarily agree with all his takes. I mean, because he's definitely has this more of a Eurocentric view. I mean, there's some things about, you know, at least when it comes to certain things, when it comes to, like, the actions of the U.S. potentially here, where, not exactly too sure, but I've only watched, like, a little bit, 6 minutes of it. All in all, though, at least when it comes to the actual conflict itself and the likelihood, that's, I think, honestly, a little bit more important than, like, what person's, you know, take is on it.
In terms of land vehicles,
but honestly, I think his mentioning of, like, you know, increased sanctions by the West, I think, is a little bit of a point. Like, there's not going to be any good or anything that comes out with sanctioning the shit out of Russia. Like, I mean, honestly, when it comes to diplomacy, that is the best case scenario, but using sanctions ain't going to be it. Because it doesn't even affect the owner class and the oligarchical, like, mafias that run Russia and shit. It's just going to affect the people down below. I mean, and all in all, like, there's a lot of people in Russia and shit that aren't even necessarily supportive of the conflict either. I mean, because I saw a video, and I'm sure there's a few more of them now at this point, where there's, like, some people and some news outlets are going to Russia asking them about these conflicts, and they're like, we're asking, what's your thoughts on it? And they're like, most of them are just like, I don't know why, it's even happening. I don't see Ukrainians as bad people or whatever the fuck. I even remember one person saying that they saw Ukrainians as brothers. Like, there's no reason to go to war with them. Like, I mean, if anything, it's kind of atrocious that, that thought would be in, people's minds or whatever. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, I agree, I guess, all in all, because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there really isn't any fucking reason to be going out, trying to be aggressive towards Ukraine, aside from just trying to revive this old fucking, like, Russian Empire, from the days of old, that Putin wants to do. Because he's a fucking oligarchical, fucking powerful, fuck that wants to, garner more of that. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, it's just like, you can be like, hey, America shouldn't be involved in this shit, and, like, there's no good side on it, but, Russia's bad. In fact, yeah, in a lot of ways, they are, worse in many circumstances. But that doesn't mean, like, there's, justification for being involved or trying to exacerbate this type of shit, especially with things like sanctions. Because if, Russia's going to, willing to use that as a bargaining chip to even escalate shit, then that should be the exact opposite of what people should be doing. Unless they are just asking for, an armed conflict.
is their air force and navy. 5.5 thousand aircraft versus 300, and more than 600 ships versus around 60. Now, of course, the entire Russian army cannot be deployed in Ukraine. Russia is a huge country, and they need a good part of their personnel and hardware just to man the borders. But even if half of their army can be deployed, Ukraine already has a huge problem. On top of that, Ukraine is severely lacking in anti-air defenses, meaning Russian planes...
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, you know, having very selected sanctions, you know, on certain things like the oil industry and shit, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but just, you know, doing sanctions just carte blanche ain't gonna, you know, help anybody. I mean, because at least when it comes to their oil industry, that doesn't have, like, a very significant impact to the, you know, the general, you know, life, you know, to the common people. Because it's one major industry, not like, you know, trying to get food at the grocery store because he's sanctioned food or something.
Short work of many strategic targets before a single invading Russian soldier even sets foot in the country. So with all that said, would Russia be able to steamroll Ukraine in a matter of days? I don't think so. In case of an all-out invasion, I assume they would
specifically support sanctions on Russian fossil fuels, I guess. Yeah. In that case, yeah, I mean, I would support sanctions for that very thing specifically. But nothing beyond that.
Certain areas and get bogged down in others, or advance only with significant losses. Despite being outnumbered, Ukrainians have a number of very useful military hardware on their hands, with almost every NATO country constantly sending them more. Examples include shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles such as the Polish Grom or the well-known Stinger, and also anti-tank systems
Javelin
such as the British
missiles too.
Anla or the American Javelin.
Yeah.
So, okay, Ukraine got some missile launchers, what's the big deal, one might ask? It actually is a pretty big deal. These weapons are what we call force multipliers. You know,
well, what they are anti-tank weapons. When you have a military that doesn't have that many tanks and they're going up against a force that does, you're going to need to make up for the lack of firepower, hence why same force multiplier. So essentially it's like, well, since we don't necessarily have just the raw armor firepower like they do on that equal level, you know, let's, you know, put some of that, you know, striking capability onto the hands of our troops with, you know, shoulder mounted or even TOW based weapons, yeah, and you know, all sorts of you know, different types of anti-tank weaponry. Because it's not necessarily just that, but there's also like anti-tank mines. There's like anti-tank grenades and shit. There's various different things that can be used, you know, to take out a tank. I mean, especially if you're infantry, it's also you know, depending on the situation, could actually be a little easier to walk up on one. Because the field of view when it comes to the operators inside the tank is very limited versus, you know, being just out in the open. I mean, not necessarily like it's a good idea to be out in the open, but if you're, you know, but when it comes to at least, you know, getting eyes on the enemy and shit, you want to be able to have a really good field of view, and being in a tank doesn't necessarily help with that.
Expensive tank or helicopter, but if one guy can take them out with one missile, that's a rather disproportionate loss there. Not to mention, the mere existence of anti-air missiles can negate the Russian helicopter threat and force planes to higher altitudes, at which they are far less effective at bombing targets. NLAWs and Javelins, but especially Javelins, are ludicrously...
I mean, unless they got computer-guided missiles, like air-to-ground missile equipment, which Russia definitely does. It makes it harder, but it doesn't necessarily mean it makes it less accurate or impossible. They just have to switch their, you know, main munitions up a little bit, so they're doing more high altitude, like missile guided ground strikes versus, you know, bombing runs or, you know, strafer runs or rocket rounds and shit like that.
Armor. The letter's secret is that the rocket travels upward after launch and hits vehicles directly from above. For Soviet armor and AFVs, that's a guaranteed death sentence. Now, all this might not be enough to deter Putin after all, at least for now. And that last part is key here. There is a temporal element to this threat, meaning the longer Putin holds off on the invasion, the higher the costs will be, thus the lower the chances of the invasion actually happening. The ideal time window for an invasion would be between mid-February and late March, when the ground is frozen solid, enabling heavy vehicles to roll through. And I'm fairly certain that if Putin doesn't invade by late March, he will not invade, period. But
honestly, that is a good point, because by the time it's springtime, a lot of the rain and a lot of that ground is going to get soft, thus make it hard for armored units to push through. And because of that, you know, it'll overall just bog down a lot of their mechanized and armored vehicles and armored divisions. So, you know, which is why it would be, you know, in the given, you know, the hypothetical, if there was an armed conflict, best interest to invade now, so to speak, versus later, because of that. I mean, at the same time, if they were able to invade and then have like a little bit of that soft ground, then even if they are brought down a little bit, they have the ground that's already gained, and they can just kind of hold in and stay bogged within. So it's harder for them to be pushed out too. I mean, plus, once the summertime rolls around, then it's going to start getting dry again, and even though the dirt in the ground might not be, like, frozen and hard in that way, it'll be easier to traverse from that. So, it'll make it just, a little bit easier once summer hits. So, even if they are bogged for a moment, it'll just be a slow little, stagnation for like a month or two before, things get rolling again. But that just kind of depends on the season.
Army starts advancing, they engage the defenders, they move in from Belarus, from the northeast, from the Donbass, from Crimea, and they land in the south. In that case, for Ukrainians, phase 1 of the conflict will be about inflicting as much damage to Russians as possible. Even if Russians will break through in the end, the more casualties there are, the more Putin risks domestic instability. Putin's approval ratings aren't too high nowadays, hovering at around 69%. This might seem like...
And also, if it does ring true, that Russian people aren't necessarily too, like patriotic or nationalistic for this whole conflict, and there's a lot of high casualty rates and a lot of destruction on the Russian side that comes from the Ukrainians doing mass damage to their advancements. That's not going to look good. I mean, especially if there's like a lot of video that's available that can come out on the internet, and even with the more suppressive media and shit in Russia, people can find it. I mean, all in all, something like that just, it just doesn't seem like it, overall is going to be a likelihood. I mean, given the circumstances. Though, I mean, no one said Putin was exactly the most rational figure either. But, I mean, if he were to, I think he'd just be kind of, like shitting in the bed and rolling in it a little bit. I mean, I don't think it'll necessarily, like, do a massive uplift, to take him down a little, but it might, take him, his influence and power down a peg.
Russia, this is rather low. In 2014, a 62% approval rating already prompted him to engage in small victorious wars abroad, such as Crimea. Add 10,000 coffins to the equation, and he might just start having problems back home. But let's assume Russians manage to break through Ukrainian defenses with only moderate losses. The domestic situation in Russia becomes tense, but more or less under control. We now enter phase 2, where Russian troops move into the Ukrainian countryside and start encircling major cities. And this is where the Ukrainian defenders can really shine. As we've seen in Iraq and Afghanistan, insurgency warfare can be very effective even against a much more powerful occupying force. But
yep.
In the case of Ukraine, this force would be somewhat weaker, and the insurgents would be more numerous, better organized, and much better equipped. This would lead to significant loss of life and equipment on the Russian side, consequently increasing domestic instability. And this would only get worse and worse over time. So it's not unlikely that even after a somewhat successful offensive, the Russians would need to pull out due to mounting losses. Of course, while all this is going on, sanctions would be in full swing. While the Russian economy was made rather resilient to these, sanctions would still do lots of damage, which again contributes to domestic instability. Increasing casualties are one thing, but when people's salaries are suddenly worth a third less, and everything in the store becomes twice as expensive, that's where the problems begin usually. So, yeah, as you can see, this game is rather complex. We cannot eliminate the chance of invasion, but we can make damn sure that Putin will think twice before making a move. He already didn't expect such a united and strong Western response to the crisis, and if we keep supplying Ukraine with gear, while presenting a united front on the diplomatic stage, we might just be able to hold Putin back until the first thaw sets in. So this was my casual but informed take on the whole Russian invasion threat. Once again, we don't know what's going to happen. I do hope there won't be a war, but even if there will be, well, there are multiple possibilities. I guess we'll just have to see. In any case, the final decision will be made inside Putin's head, which is an increasingly unstable place as time goes on. So as I said, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, okay. Go. Well. Oh. I mean, honestly, I'd kind of be curious to see what, like, other conflict, because honestly, if this were to be, if this were to be a conflict that were to happen, I mean, I guarantee you there will be other armed conflicts going on, elsewhere. So, I mean, one of my main curiosities would be, like, outside of this, what else would go on, because, I mean, this might, it might just be Ukraine initially, but they might expand from there, given a couple weeks or a couple months, depending on how things turn out. So, I mean, and if that ends up being the case, then, brings the question of, like, what type of, armed military confrontations would happen in places like in the Pacific, or places like, Eastern or Western Europe, and, like, hell, like, probably even more so in the Middle East, potentially in, North America mainly, like the West Coast, maybe. It's just like, doesn't exactly make things look good. Oh, I will sleep, boy. So sleepy. But yeah, I mean, I definitely hope there is no conflict that comes out of it, and and all in all, I'm more supportive of just the common person, regardless if they're Ukrainian, Russian, or otherwise, in this situation. Which is why I'm also pretty uh like resistant to things like sanctions, because usually whenever people are calling for sanctions, those type of things fuck over the average person in those countries. And it's like, for trying to quell a lot of the, one nation's imperialism, fucking over their people is not necessarily the way to do it. They don't really have control over it. I mean, like, at least when it comes to those circumstances, I guess it does become like a kind of a tricky noodle to work with, I guess. Because, yeah, I mean, the actions that Russia is doing is not, good or acceptable or justifiable by any means. But at the same time, like, fucking over the average common Russian citizen is not, if mass sanctions, crippling sanctions are out of war. I mean, if Russia does a full-on invasion, I mean, sure. Like, I mean, I can understand that because, given some of the Russian populace's opinions on it, ever since it becomes less than an afterthought. I mean, I guess that's kind of the fucked up thing about the war, about any war. I mean, the average citizen do become an afterthought. I mean, not just, for a Russian, but, even for the Ukrainian. Because, as, like, these advancements happen in the countryside, or, the Ukrainian troops, defend these regions, they're just going to get more bombed out and shit. I'm sure a lot of these people probably remember this from 2014. And they don't want to deal with it again. And just depending on where things turn out, that could even turn on the other side of the border and maybe even push into Russia too. Which I guess could bring up the option, or bring up the possibility of trying to get involved if that were to be the case. So, should we be preventing conflict while there's still a chance? Yeah. Because, especially when it comes to weather, the longer they wait, the better it is, for not having that be a possibility when it comes to a war. Because weather does play a major role in any armed conflict. Because it's still snowy and cold out there right now. So, any type of mechanized or armored force that's going through would be a little silly to not take advantage of it. If they were to do something. Which, I guess we'll see. Hopefully not, but nonetheless. I mean, just knowing the world police, that's the United States. Because honestly, like, all in all, that's like kind of the one thing I disagree with. It's like I still think America, overall fundamentally is going to is worse in the long run, considering their the mass exploitation capitalistically that the United States does. I mean, especially with the whole, like, oh, at least they don't militaristically, like, intimidate other nations. Like, yeah, they do. We absolutely do. Historically and contemporarily. I mean, it's like when it comes to a lot of the saber rattling that, is going on. I mean, I kind of also think about the Iraq War with W, because, like, it took, a major significant thing, at least in that case it was 9/11, to try to justify, getting people to war to have a massive bump in popularity. But that's all it really took was, having something to distract people from the massive exploitation and massive instability that came from a lot of that. And currently, there's a lot of instability and a lot of conflict and shit going on domestically. And a distraction like a major fucking war like that would, bid well for the establishment too in the U.S. Because it could be a potential popularity boost for Biden, because, like, oh, we're bad, eh? Sticking it to the man now, Jack. Being presidential now. I mean, that's what I'm really going to fear about it. Oops. You hear my pops come home? Yeah, at the garage door. Yeah, pops came home. Yeah, bro. Little dork. At least he didn't bark.
You born in the head. What am I trying to say? Bonehead. There you are.
At least he didn't bark. Wow. Good boy.
Well, if he wouldn't have barked, I wouldn't have whacked you in the head with the door now, would I? Yeah? Yeah, good creatures.
Oh, look at that little tail.
Why can't I just pet you without being, like, licked and chomped on? Yeah, you bonehead.
Just a goofy baby.
Okay.
Just a goofy sweet boy, yes you is.
Oh. You're just happy to see somebody that'll come home and pet you, huh? No.
Sikoff, look what you're doing.
No, that was me.
I'm blaming the dog anyway.
Okay, that works for me. It's the dog's fault. Yeah.
You dorky baby.
Yeah.
Look at you, you're so sweet. You're just a sweet thing.
Geez. Carol and Krista, and Carol and Krista, Ivan, there's Alex. Alex I like. The only thing he wants to do is go play pool, so I'm happy with that.
So that's where you were all night.
I don't have to drive around and get a bunch of crap. I just have to drive down there and pick up Alex and
Play
go to
pool, yeah.
Wichita and play pool. Works for me. I'm
Dope.
happy.
Zukov, come here, baby. Come here, baby. Zukov. Come here, baby. Yeah, you're such a sweet boy. Wait, what's this? Canadian hogs are ridiculous. Oh boy, what's this all about?
Don't you know? What started as a protest against the U.S. and Canadian
Sweet baby rays.
requiring truckers to
Whoa.
be fully vaccinated to enter either country has erupted into a movement of thousands against the Canadian public health system.
We don't need the government to overreach to tell us what to do.
We don't need the government to tell us what to do.
For 2 years, I've been shamed and thrown under the bus.
Protesters took to the streets for the second week in a row with a convoy of semi-trucks blocking intersections. They brought
Oh my
downtown
God.
to a halt, disrupting.
Oh my God, look at this malarkey, dude.
It's about everything from incessant honking to threats and assault.
No corn pop, Jack.
Praise from former President Donald Trump. And Ottawa police say the convoy is getting significant logistical and financial support from people in the United States. On Friday.
Oh my God, there's the fucking Q flag.
Awesome that like we're just exporting the chuds and also get Canada, okay? I'm sorry. It just makes me so giddy when we give our
fucked
fucking
Canada.
reactionary brain rot to other countries. Like, it's great. It's fucking great, dude. I don't know why the fuck you haven't sent down, like, the Moose Riders, okay? The RCMP.
The Moose Riders.
Crack some fucking skulls. What are y'all doing? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
be American
understand.
cops.
You can't deal with this protest in the same way that you deal with, like, First Nation tribe members are protesting, like, pipelines being built. You know, you have no problem beating the shit out of people, when they're indigenous protesters. Where you at? Huh? What's up? What's
What's
going
up?
on?
Yeah.
You can't crack a few skulls? You're gonna tell me? That's what you're telling me? You can't even...
Yeah, honestly, it's just like, come on, you maple sipping fucking little Canucks. Like, you're gonna be, like, moose riding and fucking beating the shit out of, like, environmentalists, but these guys ain't gonna be sending the Moose Riders to crack some skulls there. Like, boo. Boo, Canada, boo. Like, embrace your Diet Americana. Like, I mean, this is not how you're supposed to embrace your Diet Americana. It's supposed to be Diet America's by cracking skulls there, brother. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's right. Freedom.
White guys in pickup trucks? Messed up, don't you know? What's
Don't
going
you know?
on? I thought Canada was a place of law and order. Turns out it's
Law
not
and
a place
order?
of law and order, eh? It's so funny because, like,
What's that about?
obviously I've covered this
What's
already
that about?
before it made it to mainstream news out here, and 90% of the truckers are vaccinated. Okay, there's also
Yeah,
a
that's
very
true.
high population of truckers that are not white. Okay, but this protest, first of all, this protest is not fucking led by truckers. Okay,
Like, I mean, if anything, like, truckers have actually been getting kind of put under the bus with it and have been, like, getting fucked on a little bit because of this. Or getting, because they've been lumped in with it. And if anything, they're starting to get severely sick of it at this point because, so few of them are anti-vax, but, so many of them are, despite that. Because a couple of them, bring out their semis and shit, and a bunch of other random chuckle fucks, come out and join them. It's like, oh, now the entire trucking of fucking Canada is just out there, brother, let me tell you. It's like, no, they're not. Like, I mean, it's literally, like, less than 10% of these motherfuckers that are out there, and even then, like, 10% that are unvaxxed, like, it's probably, like, 10% of them that are out there anyway. So it's like, I mean, get fucked, you dumb. It's like these sad little dummy little bitches that are doing this shit. I mean, it's like, come on, Canada, don't you know? Don't you know this is what you get? This is what you get, eh?
literally built and designed by a guy who's not a trucker himself. It's attended by people who are not truckers. They just own these like lifted trucks, which doesn't make you a trucker. Also, I love this, but they just...
Honestly, it's probably, like I said, it's like you said, like what, like less than 10% of them are unvaxxed. It's like 10% of them that are probably in it, and that's probably like what, 100.
Can spell.
If that.
There was a truck that said like say no to. They were trying to say tyranny, and they wrote the T slur for trans people. Like they're like just say no. United non-compliance. Like they literally are too. Like I mean I'm sorry, dude. Like don't say I'm ableist, but I do feel like they are actually so fucking stupid. Like they're just like actually incredibly dumb. Non-compliance. We need to stop with this compliance. It's just like. Ultimately, this is just another instance where you got some fucking homies, okay? They're hanging out, they're having fun, they're doing shit, they're bored, and as long as it doesn't get out of hand, which it seems like it might, for the record, it seems like it is.
Oh my God, Ontario might declare they declared a state of emergency.
Happened,
Jesus
some
Christ!
Violent instances, some violent moments.
I was about to say they might.
Luckily, they just don't have guns in Canada to the same degree that they have it in America. You know what I mean? I just like, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, you know what I mean? It's like, they just don't have the guns that we do. So when I see shit like this, I'm like, okay, luckily they're just, you know, they have horns.
Is he good?
Like, they're weaponizing their horns. But it seems like a big party.
What do I even...
It seems like a big party for, like, wine moms, you know what I mean?
What is even going on? Hold on, like, there's some funky beats going on. They have, like, these these two people in their little, like, red beanies just chilling.
But it seems like a big party.
What are they even doing?
It seems like a big party for, like, wine moms, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you guys doing? Go home, you fucking weirdos. I just don't understand.
Yeah, why? Especially when it's so these sad, chuckle fucking motherfuckers, dude.
It makes no dang sense to me. Go home. Why don't you? Go home.
I voiced my opinion to the truckers on the street. They're stuck in the snow. I said, how does it feel to be stuck in a city right now? A lot of the citizens of Ottawa and Centertown feel that they can't even leave their homes.
That's so annoying. They just like blow their horns the entire day. They should literally make that illegal and also throw people in jail. Straight up.
For what I was said, they actually did. It looks like, yeah. Which good. Like, honestly, if I was in charge of any of that shit, I'd just say, hey, if anyone's honking for more than 1 second, jail for a month immediately. No questions asked.
Way to protest. I think you should absolutely get thrown in jail, and maybe even like you should be police brutalized a little bit, like a baby bit, okay?
A baby bit.
It's so annoying. I mean, straight up, just like a little bit, like not like police.
Just a little bit.
Like how do I describe it? Like you're a skateboarder in America, and a cop catches you doing skateboarding where you're not supposed to,
and you get tackled.
Saying, like police brutalized in the sense of like you're like a black teenager. I mean like police brutalized in like a regular police altercation where there is like a little bit of escalation, just like a
regular police altercation where there's a little bit of escalation. I like the way you phrased that.
I'm already done. Like if they were just like partying and they're like, yeah, take your masks off, don't you know? That's fine. Who cares, right? But the honking of the horns, that's really fucked up. It's so annoying because it's such an annoying thing. Such a nuisance.
Because that reverberates, throughout the entire like town.
Just baton them a little bit, impound some vehicles, baton them a little bit. They'll stand down. They're all pussies. They have saunas. What? Like this stuff is fine. The saunas and bouncy castles, like who cares? Yeah, like let them have fun. It's literally Hog Chaz without guns. Yeah, I've seen that comparison before. This is a Chaz. This is Hog Chaz. You are right.
Hog Chaz, dude. Hog Chaz, man. What the fuck? Dude, I love it. Hog Chaz, bro. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not even for like good intentions. So it's like it's just lame. It's just a bunch of suburbanite fucking weird QAnon wine moms that are all just like, oh, let's drink our wine-induced maple syrup, don't you know? Those masks, they're just crazy. I tell you what it's about. Oh, yeah.
Dark of the night and dead of winter. They want their countrymen to die. Trudeau is a fascist dictator. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, dude.
Oh my god. Canada's fascist
so
now.
Incredibly polite. It's kind of fucked up how polite they are. Like it really
compassionate fascism.
How nice they are.
This is what the Canadian regime is.
She didn't expect to find anyone who identifies as white supremacist so readily. He's even met with a few cheers. Whether or not there is a minority of voices parading around extreme views, ask yourself why they feel safe there. Wait, what? Yeah, of course there are white supremacists here. Like, it's not entirely comprised of white supremacists, but, like, this idea that this fucking movement that has, like, literal Nazi flags and shit that they're waving around doesn't have, like, actual
Bruh. Dude. I can see it. It's underneath that Gadsden flag. What the fuck? They got like fuck Trudeau sign flags too. Oh my god. Yeah. Definitely some neo-Nazi affiliation going on there, fam.
Like, oh, I was so confused.
So nice to see so many faces. I have a question for you. Okay? I need you to help me out. I'm looking for someone. I need to know what a white supremacist looks like. Are you a white supremacist, sir?
Yes, I am a white supremacist.
All right. There you go.
Wait, what?
What?
Awesome.
They're just all.
Yeah, I'm pretty racist myself. Yeah, if I do say so myself, I do believe.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I kind of be racist too, eh? You know, yeah.
The superiority of the white race.
I mean, oh my god, he's a fucking little chuckle fucks, dude. Like, can the RCMP just fucking, you know, come out and just, like, you know, do a little, you know, moose, you know, charging, you know, skull cracking here? I mean, come on.
Very cool. She goes, okay. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if he's like being sarcastic or not, but it is pretty funny seeing someone just be like, yeah, I do actually. I am loud and proud. Yeah, it's very cool.
What the fuck, dude?
And then people are like, yeah, that's our guy. She's like, okay, well, I was confused, but I'm no longer confused. There are white supremacists among us, and it turns out the crowd, they're a fan. It seems like the crowd likes the white supremacists. Never mind. I should not have asked that question. I should not have asked that question.
And I'm sure you'll see why I'm confused, because all I can see are freedom-loving Canadians.
Yeah, except for that white supremacist guy right there. And the people that were celebrating him in the crowd. But other than that, we're all freedom-loving Canadians. The thing that's funny about
totally.
This, like, a lot of reactionary attitudes.
Like, I have a feeling what he's about to say, but it's basically just like a lot of their weird-ass reactionary attitudes is a lot of, I mean, even if it does say, I'm just gonna say it here, but it's just based on a lot of, like, just weird, hypocritical contradictories and shit. It's like you have, like, a good chunk of the crowd be like, you know, cheer on a dude saying he's a white supremacist, and then this chick's like, well, I'm kind of confused because all I see are just freedom-loving Canadians. It's like, yeah, let's just not, you know, like, do we need to literally remind you the fact that not even, you know, the sentence prior to that, you know, there was a dude, you know, saying that he was a white supremacist and a bunch of people in the crowd cheered? Like, really?
As not white supremacists when they are actually white supremacists. It's just when you read the theory, like, usually in most circumstances, people that say, like, oh no, I am a white supremacist are the people that have actually read the theory. You know what I mean? They didn't just, like, learn it from the memes. They didn't just learn it from Jordan Peterson saying, like, oh, neo-Marxist postmodernists are, you know, doing Frankfurt School indoctrination of your children. Like, when you hear about cultural Marxism, that's one thing. When you recognize that it's cultural Bolshevism that is, you know, Nazi fascist propaganda, and you say that's good, actually I'm in favor of that, that's when you become an out and about white supremacist Nazi. But the difference between, you know, a lot of the people in that crowd and a lot of people who just are openly white supremacists is just like reading the theory, okay, studying the racism, like going and identifying what branch of racist you are.
And analyzing the racism, becoming one with the racism.
Kind of racist. Anyway, regardless though, it just like doesn't fucking matter. Like, yeah, there's gonna be racists there, obviously. A lot of those people are racist. But also, have you considered that they're funny?
And if you look at this, you know, the green structure there, bouncy castle, Michael. And that's just one of a few. There appear to be about 5 of them set up right here on Wellington Street in front of the Parliament building. And protesters have packed straw bales around them in case anyone falls off, presumably. So that's just an indication of the kind of atmosphere on the streets and of the.
It's like a weird, like, street, like, gabanza of just.
Say these sorts of movements are psyops created by reactionaries exclusively to make it seem like all manner of worker organizing and worker coalitions and collective bargaining attempts is actually bastardized to look reactionary. Because, like, why is it that there's never any this level of coverage and this level of fucking round the clock coverage on organizing, union organizing, labor organizing, when it's actually for workers' rights? But when it's the 10% of the when it's 10% of the working class crying about fucking mask mandates, okay, crying about workplace safety conditions, then we have to hear it like non-stop. Then they get millions of fucking dollars. Then they get to just be all over television. Then they get to fucking shut down the fucking entire cities. But when it's like,
I mean, because honestly, fundamentally, it's just really undermining the overall labor movement. Hey, Zook, stop it. Wait, I mean, overall undermines the labor movement when that type of shit happens. I mean, where it's just like, hey, you know, it's like, well, you know, we, you know, cry about safety conditions, and, you know, and our, you know, rights as workers, and blah, blah, blah. Even though it's not even about that. Like, if anything, it's, you know, they're undermining that whole fucking, you know, it's like that whole premise in the first place. Because if you want to increase safety conditions, then, you know, minimizing the spread of a disease and shit is the best way to do that. And, you know, trying to take that away is not doing that. That's why most workers are actually in favor of this shit. So it's like when you have like these, you know, small, you know, minority of people freaking out about it, they're just fundamentally undermining their own, you know, interests overall. And when they go this fucking far, they end up just looking like a bunch of idiots and stupid. Because at that point, they just are. Not just any extravaganza, but an extravaganza. Yeah.
That workers do need, I don't know, better benefits. Shutting down a workplace for better benefits. Shutting down a fucking assembly line for health care. For demanding back pay. Or even, like, stopping racism in their workplace individually. Anything like that. No coverage. Like, a little bit of coverage. Just a baby bit of coverage. But we gotta fucking hear about these dickhead hogs all day, every day. Holy fuck. And also, on top of that, they get so much money. Benjamin Norton. Oh, let's see. The trucker convoy in Canada is so obviously a right-wing operation astroturf by conservative billionaires. Benjamin Norton is correct. This is very clearly a fucking right-wing astroturf operation. It's absurd seeing some leftists pretend otherwise. This Texas far-right attorney general, a corrupt Tea Party pet project who tried to help Trump steal the election. It's as clear as day that the Canada trucker convoy is astroturf by right-wing oligarchs. Trump is promoting it, and single rich donors were giving them $215,000, which is how it got to $10 million in 2 weeks. It's similar to a billionaire-funded rally Bolsonaro recently did in Brazil. In September, Brazil's far-right leader Bolsonaro and ultra-rich allies organized the astroturf rally, which they marketed as grassroots. Corporate oligarchs paid to send minibuses to the rally. Ben Norton is correct. This is very clearly an astroturf's operation. Here's what the Canadian police are doing, though, in the most polite way possible. This is how they're stopping them.
They are taking fuel right away from people as they attempt to fuel their vehicles. And people are surrounding the police, even though the police are actually being extremely calm and cool about kind of everything, except for they're taking fuel, I guess. But
Canadian Asmongold, who's an anarchist.
They're being pretty respectful to everyone, considering they just got surrounded in like 2 seconds.
Canadian anarchists talking about how
so cops are jacking fuel?
Police are being respectful.
And they're just like kind of calmly like, we're just gonna take your fuel because it's you don't need it, eh?
Love that. Okay,
we're kind of surrounded by you, but it's okay. We're not gonna do anything about it.
Anarchists. Okay, let's just watch this.
You got another thing coming.
I've seen this one.
I have a record the size of my fucking arm.
The size of my fucking arm, eh? I'm not a nice guy. I don't say sorry.
I'll tell you right now, there's not a single person out there who's fucking gonna be able to stand up to what's coming.
Dude, respect, dude. Look at him driving with one hand and fucking streaming with the other. Dude.
And dude, fucking just like, bro, no, it ain't no what's gonna become, brother. It's just like, okay, sure, fam.
Okay, that's peak, bro. That is peak hog physical perfection.
Like, sure.
Steering with one hand and fucking holding it on with the other.
I mean, he's trying to Hulk it out like the bald Hulk Hogan here, brother. I mean, that's what he's trying to do.
Dude, I respect it.
I fucking see it. And I guarantee it, each and every one of you are gonna run like little bitches. Yeah, I said little bitches.
I said little bitches. I'm not gonna be sorry about it. What are you gonna do about it, eh? What are you gonna do? Me?
Gloves are off, don't you know? I used the B word.
Oh, Canadian Hulk Hogan, bro.
So giddy. Oh, dude. I love Canadian hogs. I realize. Yeah, bitch, you're scared, right? Let me scare you further. Imagine a future where there's no poutine, okay? None. You can't have it. No more gravy on your fries. That's right. No Tim Hortons. No Timmy Bits. No Timbits. No. Yeah, that's what this socialist government wants. Yeah, Justin Trudeau. That's what he wants to do. No maple syrup. No more maple syrup. Gloves are off now.
Oh, you little fucking pukes. Giver. Can't wait to watch you cower. And fucking run in shame.
Okay.
I'm scared. I got pepper sprayed. I got rubber bullet in.
Okay. Oh, I'm so scared. That's totally not the laugh of an insane man.
You know what's coming. Rubber bullets and pepper spray are fucked.
Yeah. You You have no idea what's coming. I'm gonna say.
I am so intimidated. Oh my god.
All the meanest word.
I mean, honestly, if you'll say that to my face, even if he had a gun, it's just like, oh, I'm supposed to be fucking scared of you. Oh no. It's like, alright, pipe down, little bitch. I'm just like, just walk away at that point. Be like, oh, go ahead and cower a bit. I'm just like, what, me just casually walk away is cowering now? Wow. Wow, such alpha energy coming from you there, buddy.
That's just the start. I might even say fuckface. Yeah, shackles are off, baby. I'm gonna be so rude, I will never apologize.
Wait till the real bullets start flying. And then we'll...
Yeah, I got the blunderbuss.
I got my blunderbuss,
What's he gonna do, bro? Yeah, I got it. I'm getting my musket ready. That's from my father's father, don't you know? Just wait till my musket starts blasting at a rapid clip, you know? Then who will be laughing? You won't be laughing.
Yeah. To the rest of everybody else, I love you. Thanks for all your support.
That's awesome. Wait till I pull out my gun that's restricted by the government. Wait till I pull out my gun that's restricted by the government to only have 5 bullets. Who will be laughing?
5 bullets,
only
yes.
22s, 5 bullets. You know?
22 long rifles and just 5 bullets in each little, you know, magazine. Yes. Yeah, don't you know? You're you know, it will take about like 2 minutes because I have to muzzle load them each time. Despite having rounds. Oh my god, dude, I love it. Dude, I love these Canadian hogs even more so because they really are legit just far less intimidating than American hogs. I mean, honestly, because American hogs, they actually have an armory, you know, so it's just like, alright, you know, okay. I mean, they have a little bit more than just 5, you know, little, you know, round magazines, so no bueno on that, but I mean, all in all, it's just like, they think that's, you know, supposed to be some sort of, like, you know, use of intimidation, but to me, it's just like, nah. I mean, it's like, sure, I'm gonna be a lot more mindful, and maybe a little bit more aware, and nervous, probably, but, what, fearful? Okay, sure, buddy. You're really getting them, you're sticking it to the libs now there, buddy.
Dude, I want to watch the Canadian police just fucking crack this dude, okay? Just absolutely straight whip this dude when he comes out with a blunderbuss.
The blunderbuss.
Dude, it's just great, dude. Canadian hogs are at a different level, and I love it. Heard of the police crackdown last night after the state of emergency was declared? Oh, let's take a look.
Oh, wait, there has been some crackdown?
Dismantling the convoy protesters' logistics camps on Coventry Road. There's a long
row
of tow trucks.
Look at this small little legion of maple syrup walkers.
Officers dismantling the logistics camp.
So politely taking it down.
Right now, police with the help of the fire department seem to be focusing on removing the gas and propane tanks. Police have left the fuel and propane but have now dismantled the camp. They've however cut off the supply route from protesters downtown. Witnesses say before the police raid, they saw a drone fly overhead, surveilling them. Then dozens of officers came to the snowbanks and surrounded them. Protesters prayed for the police.
They prayed for the police? We pray that you're not gonna do this, but you're gonna do it anyway, so we just pray for you to be better people, eh? Look how politely you're, you know, taking us down. You're so polite, you don't even have guns. I don't even see guns on you because you're so polite about doing this. Oh, well, actually, one of you has a gun. It doesn't even look like a gun, it just looks more like a paintball gun. Like, I mean, they're so polite about this. These Canadian cops, bro.
Shame on you. Shame.
Who, you or the cops?
This display of force. Dude, look at that. They just, like, they literally don't understand. They don't understand that, like, they themselves would ever be at odds with the jackbooted thugs of the government. You know what I mean? They're, like, actually shocked when they get not even force. Like, they're not even seeing force, by the way. Calling this force
literally isn't
disgusting.
force.
Force is when you beat the shit out of...
like, honestly, force is where rubber bullets are being launched at their faces, you know, like, you know, pepper bullet, shotgun shells are being launched in their face, you know, tear gas is, you know, fumigating, you know, blocks on end, just a little, like, fog of tear gas just for blocks on end and shit. Like, that's a force. Like, this is literally nothing. This is a mild, like, conversational, like, interaction more so than, like, even an altercation. Like, I wouldn't even call this an altercation. This is like It's just like a little like interaction more than anything.
on you know, indigenous land, right? That's force. Like, these guys, they're like being pleasantly removed, or you know, being met with the force of nuisances, okay, hurdles that they need to overcome.
Shame, eh? Shame. Get back,
I'm glad that the Canadian courts actually filed an injunction, and that it's no longer allowed to just like keep doing noise pollution, because that shit's fucking annoying. What are you gonna do, bitch?
Who's this woman?
The gloves are off.
The gloves are off. I am a tier 1 Karen. You don't want to fuck with me, eh? I'm a tier 1 Karen. I am below the S tier. You don't want to fuck with me, eh? What are you gonna do? The gloves off now, you son of a bitch. I'm not even gonna be sorry about it, eh? I want to speak with your manager, eh? Get the fuck back here. You and everybody else, or what? Your goddamn manager, you sons of bitches. Look how polite these fucking cops are.
Excessive force. They have no idea. They have no concept of excessive force, dude.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my god, these sad maroons, dude. Holy shit. Can we just send volunteer regiments of different police from America over here? Like, I think they need a lesson. They need some lessons of what actual excessive force looks like.
Trained to maintain.
Just tell the American cops they're a bunch of Antifa, and, you know, rest is history.
And large firearm you see on the officer on the left is a riot control device that launches tear gas or projectiles. Dude, I love the Canadian broadcaster having to describe what a less than lethal weapon is, because they, like, have never seen it. You know what I mean? It's pretty basic, dude. Like, that's like every American protest. You get
seriously
leftists together in America.
I mean, I'm not even seeing riot gear on these people. They have like reflective vests. Like, I mean, they don't even look like typical cops I would see at any of these things. Like, I mean, this is just, it's unusual for me to see cops looking like this in situations like this, honestly. Where only like 2 of them have, you know, riot control weapons, and it's like, like, for me, this is unusual. Like, these cops are so polite. Like, what the hell?
Everyone is armed with the fucking grenade launcher. Armed with less than lethal rounds. Baby's first police brutality. Yeah, is like baby's first show of force, you know?
What are these people doing?
Dude, this is so awesome. Like, this part is awesome.
They're just dancing.
They're just jamming out, dude. They're fucking jamming out.
What would happen?
They're just jamming, bro. Hold on, let's just look at them again. They just be vibing. Yeah, they're just vibing.
Dude, this is so awesome. Like,
I mean, those people just vibing, bro. They're just bumping some tunes.
They're just jamming out, dude. They're fucking jamming out.
What would happen if American truck drivers decided they'd had enough of people like Joe Scarborough? And
wait, oh my god, don't even pretend that you're, you know, like, jerking off with Joe Scarborough in the morning or something, bro. Like, that motherfucker's basically you, but on MSNBC, like, at this rate. Like, shut up.
No more.
Like, you have a problem with him.
True. And that would be fucking awesome. Except I'm pretty sure the Teamsters fucking despise Tucker Carlson. Like, yeah, there's obviously going
yes,
to
they do.
Some.
Like, there's a lot of Teamsters around here. Like, I'll see people that have, like, you know, either, like, a mask that has, like, their local Teamsters. I think it's, like, either 51 or 81 that's around here. And either they'll also have a hat. You know, like, there's a few people around here that have that type of shit. And it's just like, yeah, none of them, like, I can already tell, just usually just by, you know, looking at them and just talking with them that, yeah, they're not ones that I would, you know, see them watching Tucker Carlson and be like, I think he has a point. In fact, like, I'd say that all of them probably look at him as, like, he's kind of a smug shitfuck. You know, screw that guy. He's just a corporate dipshit.
Awesome. What the fuck? This is awesome. Like, I really do hope that happens. That would be great. But, God, I want more fucking actual labor momentum, just so, like, obviously...
Seriously. Like, I mean, this is what I hate about the, like, you know... I mean, this is like the weird thing about like the whole. I was talking about this the other day about like, you know, or with Kevin Sorbo. I think it was either last night or the other night. It was recently, like, you know, a day or two ago. But where he was kind of accidentally endorsing Medicare for All a little bit. I mean, it's like even. Oops. Oh Jesus! Ambush of sneak. Whoa. Oh. Anyway, but it's just like when it comes to the kind of like the sapling principle with like, you know, the accidentally left-wing, you know, shit when it comes to like some of the weird amalgamified ideological confusion that comes from a lot of the right. Sometimes the sapling and trying to fertilize it isn't necessarily trying to fertilize it with the individual themselves. Like, you know, because trying to fertilize the sapling of Tucker Carlson specifically on issues like this is just fruitless. Like, you're never going to get anywhere with that at all. But to potentially maybe clip that sapling off and, you know, put it somewhere in, you know, some different soil, you know, where that's, you know, where other people, you know, are in that similar little sphere, then that might, you know, be some different results though. So it's like when it comes to these weirdos that are like, you know, fucker Carlson, just like, oh yes, like, you know, just all, what if truckers, you know, were to come out and, you know, do a mass strike against, you know, these, you know, like, you know, corporate little shitheads and blah, 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 blah. It's like, I mean, unironically based, but that includes you too, by the way.
But, you know, workers can get better benefits, higher pay for all the obvious good reasons, and then, you know, more people joining labor unions, always a good thing. But also the secondary reason why I wanted is so that Tucker Carlson, who's like Mr. Working Class, has to go back and fucking cry about like how the Teamsters claim to be the side of the working class, and yet they have a $1.8 billion strike fund. Doesn't seem so working class to me, does it? That's right. The Teamsters make $100,000 on average on their salaries. Somewhere as high as $250,000 in a state like California. Doesn't seem so working class, does it? Like, he will turn on fucking truckers so quick, and those are like actual talking points that he would use too. Which, by the way, speaking of the Teamsters, the Teamsters Canada has already denounced the truck drivers, and they said the real enemy for truckers is COVID-19. Statement by Francois Laporte, president of Teamsters Canada, representing over 55,000 professional drivers across Canada. But of course, you know,
yeah, because the majority of truckers and usually the majority of a lot of union laborers and union workers is against this stupid shit, like these trucker fuckers, even what they're doing. I'm gonna start calling them that now, trucker fuckers.
Was trying to just simply propagandize. The only
Trucker
time
fucks.
that Republicans ever fucking get on board with labor unions, well, I mean, it's not even labor unions, let's be real, this is not even labor unions, but the only time the Republicans get on board with like labor action is if it's the workers that do not represent a union or anything like that, and they
are fighting against their own self-interest.
Like 10% of the workers, and it's actually protesting against workplace safety provisions. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Quieter, it's been so noisy here for the past 2 weeks because of an injunction now. Anyone who honks their horn could potentially be arrested. So instead, as we get further into the day, what you're going to get instead is a lot of revving.
Honestly, is that like bridge gonna collapse? I mean, look at that.
And music blaring and people giving speeches who insist that they will not be leaving until all of the restrictions and mandates go away for good. Robin.
All right, Trevor, thank you.
You know what really...
Well, war of attrition, baby. Let's go.
Liberals look to this and go, oh, God, workers, like, protesting for their fucking rights is bad. So liberals are, like, seeing this as, like, labor organizing being bad. And then conservatives are only going to advocate for workers organizing when it's not even a real workers organization, and it's for deregulation. Deregulation and against healthcare initiatives. The trucker convoy could be coming to the United States of America, don't you know?
Major impact on the auto industry.
Wait.
They're disrupting trade.
Are they moving to migrate now? Oh wait, I think I remember hearing something about this. So they're gonna like start in LA, but then go to fucking like DC or something.
Now the Department of Homeland Security warns a similar convoy might pop up near the Super Bowl.
This is just classic fear mongering.
Oh my God, they're trying to. Oh, that's why they're trying to do LA Super Bowl.
in my opinion, from the media. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're actually astroturfing it so it happens in America too. But the funniest part about it is, like, what are they going to protest? We have nothing. Like, even the fucking mask mandates have been lifted. Like, that's...
I mean, honestly, yeah, like, all they're doing is basically just virtue signaling, like, yeah, we're solidarity with the other truckers, yeah, or the other truckers, yeah. I mean, that's basically it. And also, I guess, you know, let's go Brandon memes, because fuck Joe Biden, I guess. I mean, like, they got nothing. They got nothing to bitch about.
Oh my god, they're still making kids wear masks. Like, where? In, like, one school in, like, fucking, like, Northern Virginia or something? Like, there's, like, no schools that actually have any restrictions whatsoever. Like, it's not happening. New Jersey still does, except they're no longer gonna have it. That's not very true. No, LA County still has it, but everything is getting all the restrictions are being lifted. The 11 remaining liberal in blue state governors got together this past week, talked to Joe Biden to change the restrictions at the federal level for the CDC too. They urged Joe Biden to change the restrictions at the CDC level, and now they're working on lifting their restrictions, like, completely.
Department of Homeland Security says it received reports a convoy of
economy matters more
block
than natural human safety, so lift the restrictions, fuck off.
Disrupt transportation. The DHS alert says the convoy could begin Sunday in Los Angeles, the site of the Super Bowl.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
Truckers as they travel across the country, possibly reaching Washington, D.C. on March 1st, the same day as the State of the Union.
I want all these mandates gone, and I'm not leaving until all the mandates are gone.
What is the stuff that you can't do right now as a non-vaccinated person?
I live in Quebec, so it's a bit more intense than other places in Canada. But look, I can't go skiing, I can't go to Walmart, I can't go to Canadian Tire, I can't go to Home Depot, I can't go to restaurants, I can't go to bars, I can't go to the gym.
Cry me a fucking river, bitch. Get vaccinated and you can do all that, you sad little puppy.
Truckers here in Canada.
Little baby, fucking beta, little bitch boy. You little Twinkie ass bitch boy, like, cry me a fucking river, wah.
Countries.
Like, I like it was just like listen to all that shit and gish galloping, just like anyone's supposed to give a fuck. Like, yeah, I'm not gay. Yeah, like, if anything, you're garnering like less empathy and far more apathy out of me than anything. It's like, oh, I can't do any of this because I'm too selfish to take one little jab. It's like, cry me a river, then, you sad little fuck. like what? Well, I'm supposed to care? Like, yeah, I mean, it's like, let me care about your woes, because, you're too stupid to just get, a couple jabs or one jab. It's like, shut the fuck up, you sad little puppy bitch.
A standstill right outside the National Parliament.
I was hired on at a...
So, I mean, he's fucking, like, honestly was whining more than a bitch in heat anyways. It's like, ugh, couldn't really tell the difference.
Don't look like a truck to me, bro. The fuck you doing? That doesn't look like a truck to me.
For a company out of Whitby, Ontario, and I was let go due to not willing to get the vaccines for my job, and...
I mean, good. I mean, you should have gotten the vaccine, you sad little, whiny little bitch in heat. Because I really can't tell the fucking difference. Are you bitch in heat, or are you like a fucking, man that, knows how to, work for his family and shit? That can, stand up and be confident against a tiny little needle that's gonna, push some stuff in me. Oh no, oh god, Like, cry me a fucking river, you sad little pompous bitch. Like, I'm supposed to give a fuck about any of these people.
And that's not right for companies to be able to decide that and take away our right to earn money and support our livelihood.
Now, this is all happening despite these protesters.
Like, he knows a fucking thing about that.
Of Canadians, more than 80% of eligible Canadians are fully vaccinated, and the Canadian Trucking Alliance, the primary advocacy.
Bro, if you're running out of breath while trying to fucking talk to Donnie, you 100% should get the vaccine. Like, you're gonna fucking die, dumbass. You're like, literally, there's not enough oxygen going to your head right now. Your neck is like stopping you from fucking breathing appropriately, and you're like, no, it'll be fine. It's like, get the fucking vaccine, dummy.
At this rate, it's just like, I'm more or less just gonna, mom be a little bit at this rate. It's just like, I'm too scared to get vaccinated. It's like, give me a break.
Which has condemned these protests, has said about 85% of Canadian truckers who regularly cross the US border are vaccinated. And for you, why is it important for you to be here today?
Well, because
Fake news.
Sorry.
Because like you're.
Don't talk too damn. This is fake news.
But despite the fact that these people...
Yeah, the dude was actually willing to answer, but the other guy was like, don't see French news. I want to see French Quebecans.
Minority in Canada, they are receiving a lot of support from conservatives and other right-wing figures in the United States.
We are now aware of a significant element from the United States that have been involved in the funding, the organizing, and the
I
demonstration.
like how we're slowly getting relations with Canada deteriorated because of a bunch of, like, trucker fucks, you know, coming in, you know, doing bullshit, dude. What the fuck?
Truckers are heroes. They are patriots, and they are marching for your freedom and for my freedom.
This is very much a
All Ted Cruz, shut up.
playing out as much on the internet as it is on the streets. Viral memes and sometimes false and highly offensive historical
I thought
comparisons that
that looked like a Pepe Basic Grinch.
Brendo. For the Canadians in the chat, I have to say I'm sorry. Once again, all of your worst people are just trying to be American and overcompensating for being Canadian in their endless effort to appear as American hogs. It's literally our fault. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, the proximity that you have to
Maybe Canada should sanction America, bro.
the reason why this
Maybe
is happening.
Canada should start building a southern border wall.
We're giving our worst kind of brain rot to some of your dumbest people. And then also, on top of that, we're literally giving you money. Like, we're giving these fucking hogs money directly. Like, material support, emotional support. Wild. Like, people...
Maybe Canada, unironically, should probably sanction the United States and maybe, like, fucking build a southern border wall. Unironically. Let's go, baby.
Oh, the American government, the State Department, was, like, worried about communism spreading, right? All around the world. Meanwhile, the rest of the...
They're anti-vaxxers, they're crazy, they're loons. I assume some Americans are good people.
planet, i.e. every country that's not America, should be worried that we are ideologically giving you Ameroid brain disease. It's not the fucking specter of communism that is haunting other countries. It is the specter of
American.
hogism. Like, what the fuck compels
Hogism,
a
dude.
person in
America
Canada
hogism.
to go, let's go Brando, like Justin Trudeau as Brandon. Like, that meme doesn't even, that meme barely works for America, you fucking idiot. The let's go Brandon thing is like already a fucking half-ass meme for America, and you were like, oh yes,
Brando,
Justin Trudeau.
yeah.
Oh, man, that's so sad.
Online are being repeated verbatim here, like this. And because you're not vaccinated, is there stuff you can't do in Canada now?
Yeah, I'm like, well, basically, if you want to compare Canada to anything, it's like Hitler's Germany, and we're like the Jews, eh? One of the
Oh my god, he threw in an A. He did an A. Oh my god. He were like the Jews, eh? It's like, I don't see you all being thrown into death camps and gas chambers, you stupid, pompous, literal, fucking offensive fucks. Like, the idea that you could be even remotely close to, like, you know, equivocated to Jews and shit in Hitler's Germany is not even comical, but just, like, you know, just fucking, like, offensively stupid. Like, that's just insane. Like, just no. Just literally no. Ridiculous. Insanity. Just jail. Just jail the fucking whoever this random, like, trucker fuck is. Just absurd.
Is to get a group of people that you can get everybody angry with, and this case is the unvaccinated.
Famously, the Jews in the Holocaust were, you know, they could have easily become non-Jewish by getting a vaccine. Like, it wasn't like inalienable,
easy,
unchangeable fucking racial dynamics that they were subjected to. You know, that's why it's always so similar. It's like literally abiding by public health measures that help themselves. It's crazy.
Hi, my name's Jim Kerr, and I care about human beings, especially ones who try to keep themselves warm in a truck while fighting for the freedoms of Canadians. How you feel?
Whoa.
The main problem I have is all the censorship that's going on. That's the main problem that I have. There's censorship everywhere, yeah. People's accounts get taken down, even Facebook, if you don't say the right thing. Even this convoy, a lot of groups started, and people are even live streaming and all that.
Bro, that's it. That's perfect. It's not even the vaccine mandates. They're just mad about Facebook posts, dude.
I mean, wouldn't you want to fucking, like, complain about that to Facebook then?
I heard yesterday in the restaurant, my feed was cut. My feed was cut.
Facebook shut down some groups on its platform supporting the truckers after the online outlet Grid News found that they were being administered by a hacked account that had belonged to a woman in Missouri. So whoever was really running the groups wanted to hide their identity. And GoFundMe shut down a fundraiser for the truckers after police told them the protest had become an occupation. But organizers here have still been able to raise millions of dollars through an alternative service, a self-described Christian fundraising platform. Organizers say the money will help keep the truckers on the street.
La dernière fois que j'ai vu ma femme, c'est le 28 janvier que j'ai pas pu la revoir. Puis je suis ici, elle m'appuie à 100%.
So wow, this dude literally left his wife to fucking do this. What a sad, sad fuck. I guarantee you that guy's probably drinking like a bottle of whiskey a week. Less than that, probably 2 bottles a week.
Groupe sur des réseaux qui essaient de nous aider, nous envoyer de l'argent pour essayer de nous aider pour pas qu'on soit obligé de faire faillite.
We want those great Canadian truckers to know that we are with them all the way.
Trump indicated he is supportive of truckers descending on Washington, D.C., other American right-wing figures goading their audiences to act.
Honestly, if, like, they did go to D.C. at State of the Union shit, oh my fucking god, I like, police hogs will definitely react a lot more differently in comparison to Canadian ones. So there'll be a major fucking difference of how the cops react to that, especially considering past, actions from the QAnon Trump side of things.
Literally 10%. It's not even 10% of the truckers that are unvaccinated, but it's 10% of the truckers overall that are unvaccinated. Don't know if all of them are there, but weird. That
Definitely not all of them.
Even a fucking story.
It's like this. Come here. Will we need our own trucker rally to end all of this insanity once and for all?
Like what? What insanity? That's why it was always funny whenever conservatives are talking about, like, the government wants us to be shut down forever. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Every single...
I mean, honestly, if anything, like, Biden has barely did fuck all when it comes to the reaction to COVID, aside from just kind of continuing, Trump's COVID plans, and then just kind of, like, kind of fizzling it with its sense. I mean, so if anything, like, he hasn't really done that much different, and changed that much with everything. Aside from, just encouraging vaccines more, than Trump would have. But, like, what difference has this really made at this point when, like, there's still, people getting sick and, hospital rates, still up, and all these different, like, we're still in the fucking pandemic. Like, it's not really covered as much anymore because it's just like, trying to be brushed on the rug just so the economy can keep on chugging because the economists must feed. Like, there's, the maximization of profit matters more than, the general well-being of people, in their, in these fuck countries. So that's, it's just going to cause more instability. So, all in all, like, what, really, like, what fucking shit is, the government actually doing, when it comes to the shit? Like, fuck all. If anything, they're trying to lift shit already as it is.
Fucking lower restrictions, they took it. Nobody wants to be locked up. Nobody wants businesses to fucking fail. And that's precisely why all of the fucking Democratic governments are now, the Democratic governors are also releasing the remaining tiny, minuscule fucking shutdown measures that were in existence. They're gone too. So what will the Republicans cry about when that happens? It's gonna be really funny when they just have nothing to cry about anymore. Like, what are they gonna do? Because at this point, it seems like they're just making shit up. They're like angry at things that do not exist.
They've always got to make shit up. Next thing they're gonna cry about is not being strong enough against Russia or some shit.
What is the main goal, the main objective of the truckers here?
Freedom.
Well, I'm here for the same reason every other Canadian patriot is here. We're standing up for
Canadian patriot.
Standing up against these tyrannical mandates.
Tyrannical mandates.
Signs pointing towards socialism and ultimately communism. I'm not vaccinated myself. My son is, but like.
My son's a communist. I've disowned him now.
A person wanting to get vaccinated, like. By all means, go right ahead. But
the sad thing is, like,
by all means, go right ahead, but I'm going to disown you as a fucking socialist communist because you've been brainwashed now, You got the 5G communism worms.
Chat. His son's been in the chat, and he's like, dude, I don't know how to fucking convince my stupid dad to get a fucking vaccine. You know what I mean? Like, please, dude, what can I tell my dad? Get his dumbass vaccine. I'm legit worried. I'm legitimately fucking worried that he's gonna die of COVID when he gets.
Honestly, all in all, this is also a super spreader event. I'm sure, like 80% of the people that are, you know, in this event got COVID. And thus spread it around everywhere. Like, it's probably literally a plague rat infestation there. Like, honestly, if cops end up breaking this shit up, they need to be wearing hazmat suits.
Let's do it. That doesn't want to do it. Like, it's, where did freedom of choice go? Where did my body, my choice go?
Oh, like, you gave a fuck about that. Really? Are we serious? Oh, so what's your opinion on abortion issues? What's your opinion on abortion rights? Because I guarantee you all of a sudden that, you know, will flip right on its head immediately. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my god. Oh, like, yeah, these conservatives are gonna, you know, crow about fucking freedom of choice. Like, give me a break.
Is actually the wrong word, because they are quite literally holding the downtown hostage. It may not be the most violent siege people can imagine, but they are holding downtown Ottawa's economy hostage. They are holding the livelihood of the residents that live here hostage.
It's like, at a certain point, you're just going to be like, all right, dude, pack the bags, you know, we got it. Like, you made your point, you're fucking annoying, it's not going to work, like, go home, fucking go home, dude. It's too much. It's annoying.
It's affected every part of everyone's lives. People are changing how they walk at night, people are changing how they walk during the day.
Oh, I'm in Brock, Ontario.
God's giving me mute. Oh my god.
I'm here to Ottawa. I came with my husband and my 3.5
God-giving unity works best.
Yeah, let's just see how well, like, your God-given immunity and unity works if, like, your immune system can handle just certain, like, shit like anthrax or something. Let's see how, like, you know, deadly bacterial infections work, you know, when you have a God-given immunity with that. Like, give me a break.
To go around and show support to the truckers. They're doing something that we just couldn't do. I know we appreciate the doctors and nurses and whatnot, but they were just not able to.
Dude, it's fucking nuts. Like, it's just, again, incredibly fucking bored people that have decided that this is a fun activity for them. I also don't know why they aren't, a chatter correctly pointed this out. Why the fuck don't they, like, literally, why don't they just, like, ticket them out the asshole, bro?
Do what these truckers can do, which is big
I hope they are.
coming and saying, hey,
They probably are.
here, we're not putting
Documenting what their license plates are, if they can get them, and just
and I believe
endlessly flooding their mailbox with tickets.
This is old news. Ottawa's taking serious action now. Dude, I've never seen a situation where there's been a sit-in where, like, even, like, daytime traffic has been disrupted by, like, Black Lives Matter protesters or Indigenous protesters that has not fucking turned into bloody conflict where they beat the shit out of the people and move them. They pedal, corral, and then gas them. Every single fucking time.
Yep.
It is so wild to me that, once again,
I've definitely been in those circumstances. I've been in the middle of it.
Okay, but also in the Western world in general.
Know it all too well.
Is always just free speech is just for white people, okay? It's just for white people, it's for white causes, it's for the majority group and their grievances. That's it. It's fucking crazy. No, it's not. You're a damn liar. Really? These people have cost millions of dollars to the city of fucking Ottawa. They have shut down traffic.
It's like, oh my, it's like they're not doing all this, you know, crazy fucking shit, you liar. They're not, you know, holding everything up like it's all being, like, literally said it is and how it's happening, you liar. Like, that's not how it is. Like, what are you talking about? Nuh-uh. It's like, that person has to actually be legit out of touch or some shit, because, like, what? Like, I mean, he's, like, there's literally, like, footage, endless shit, like, you know, coming out of this type of stuff, but it's like, nah, this person's lying about it. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, it's like, at that point, you're just believing you're, like, at this rate, you're lying eyes. Like, it's at a point where you're not believing a person, but your own lying eyes. It's where that, you know, actual little phrase literally does actually work.
What are you fucking talking about? It's completely unacceptable. It is. Especially because, like, the grievance is not a legitimate one. If it was, like, a legit grievance, that's one thing. If it was, like, an actual legitimate grievance, then, you know, Godspeed, brother. That's different, you know? They were trying to block the airport, too. Like, that's crazy, man. That's...
No way. Oh my god, imagine if they actually not only blocked the airport, but got on the fucking runways and shit. Oh my fucking god, dude. That'd be insane. I mean, honestly, all in all, it's just like, I mean, if these people were, like, doing, like, some mass, like, you know, they're moving for mass, like, wage increases, you know, better standing living conditions, and, you know, more, cracking down on major corporations on workers' rights, from the government, minus blocking airports and bridges, but doing like an occupation within the city and kind of like doing their own little like labor-based like Chaz movement or some shit in Ottawa. And like honestly, something like that definitely could spread like wildfire, especially with labor militancy already kind of on the rise. But no. I mean, because honestly, if it was that, I definitely would be absolutely in support of it. I think it would literally be the most base thing that has, just come out, in quite a while. But nope, it's not. It's just this sad chucklefuck bundle of nonsense and absurdity. It's like, man, it's like what a way to be this close to actually being kind of based. But no, they're a bunch of sad chuckle fucks and stupid. What's up, Zooks? Little Zookov. What you doing, boy? What are you what are you staring at me like that for? You got some reason you're staring at me like that, you absurd bundle of cocaine and ridiculousness. Aw. Sweet little baby. Oh my god. I keep getting recommended this weird, like, lefty drama stuff about, like, video essayists versus debate bros. Oh god. I'm getting... It's been like that for like the last 2 or 3 days, and it's getting really old. I guess, you wouldn't be a lefty unless you, were endlessly bombarded with random nonsense lefty drama. What are you looking at up there? Is there a spider you're looking at? I don't even see a spider, bro. There's nothing up there. I don't even know what you're looking at. No weirdo. Just give me the looks. Just give me all the looks. What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Little baby. Here's a little baby. Here's your baby. Here's your little baby. Here's your baby. Here's your baby. Here's your baby. Here's a little baby. Here's a little baby. Here's a little baby. Here's a little sweet little baby. Little baby. Little baby. Just be a little baby. It keeps doing this little head. It's just so cute. You just see the little head. Just the little head tails. The little head tails. Cause trying to see what I'm trying to see. Can you see what my little noise name in my mouth? Oh, you're just so cute. My guy's just too damn cute, staring at me the way he is. You don't got a right to stare at me like that. He's eyeballing me, but every time I look at him now, he's just looking away. It's like, yeah, I'm not looking at you actually. Now he's really trying to look like he's not. He's like, You're a little weirdo. You wanna come here? You wanna hang out over here? You wanna hang out over here, buddy? You booty booty. You wanna come here? You wanna come here and hang out? Wanna be on my lap? Wanna be on my lap? Lap? You wanna be on my lap? Come on, buddy. I know you do. I know you're thinking about it. I know you're kind of considering it. Aww. Sad the look of a sleepy boy. Come here. You wanna be on my lap? Zukov, come on. You wanna be on the lap? Come on, buddy. Come here. Come be on my lap, buddy. Oh, you stretchy thing. Oh, oh my God! What? See, you lazy bones. You clumsy, lazy bones. Ugh. Oh, you sweet thing. Oh my goodness, you're just sweet thing. There ain't nothing for you to be sniffing over there. There we go. Oh, you sweet baby boy. You're a sweet handsome boy. Who's a good boy, huh? Oh. There ain't nothing over there for you. Oh. Whoa, what the hell is that? Jesus. Whoa. My goodness. Little fucking leg spasm. Little muscle spasm on your ass? Damn, son. Whoa. You want a little belly rub? Is that a little leg kick telling me you want some belly rubs? Yeah, look at that. Look at these little leg kicks. My goodness, you sweet thing, you. You just a sweet little thing. My goodness, look at you. You just a sweet little thing. You sweet little thing. Oh, here. Oh, just adjust you slightly. Yeah, there we go. Oh, now you're chilling. Now we chilling. Because I won't be sneaking up on any food. Oh, you dorky sweet little thing. You just sweet little thing, you. My goodness. My goodness. Just too damn sweet. Too damn cute and too damn sweet. What am I even supposed to do with you? Look at you. You're absurd. You're absurd just chilling on the lap. see what type of random shit's going on with the tube here now. For humans before, let's see. Charlie Kirk says school mask mandates are exactly like North Korea. Exactly North Korea. What the fuck? Well, no way. No. Oh my god. These fucking people, man. First, like, Hitler's Germany. It's like North Korea. It's Cuba. It's Venezuela. It's Stalin. It's Russia.
School administrators and teachers want everyone else to be masked to protect themselves because they took too many trips to Wendy's. What exactly is his point here? I'm assuming that he's going to fat shame people, and because people are overweight and thus more susceptible to COVID-19, long COVID, more complications due to COVID-19, he's mad at them because we have to wear masks to protect them. That's what I'm assuming is going to be his argument. Perhaps it's a little bit more nuanced, but we're talking about Charlie Kirk here. So I wouldn't hold my breath here, but let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
News in Cut 37 saying how children have to choose between masking or foggy glasses, impeding their learning, and how masks aren't worn properly.
Oh, please. Listen, I have a mask, and we're pausing it at like 2 seconds in. But look, I have glasses, and when I wear masks, it does fog up. It is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. This is a temporary measure. We'll do this for a little bit just to, get through the pandemic, although it seems like people are already preemptively declaring victory in COVID-19, or perhaps...
I mean, also, like, with the whole, like, mask fogging thing, there's kind of ways to mitigate it to a certain degree. It's not like, yeah, because at the end of the day, it ain't the end of the fucking world. Like, oh no, my glasses fog up a little bit. Get a little, like, glasses rag or whatever, like a little cloth rag, and just wipe it down. Like, it's stupid. Like, are we serious so far? Like, really?
It washed through the country, but either way, I'll try not to pause it. I'm so bad at this, so I apologize, folks.
Really, most of the time anyway. It's also creating subjects, not citizens. A generation. How? Similar, and I will use a comparison here that will definitely get some headlines. And then everyone just kind of stares. It's exactly how children are raised in North Korea. They don't know freedom and liberty. They do what they're...
He goes straight to North Korea. I'm on...
This is exactly how children are treated in North Korea, let me just tell you, brother. Exactly like North Korea. This, children are just meant to, like children in North Korea, they're always wearing masks. They're forced to, comply with, mask mandates and get vaccinated every time, by their state. Yep, that's what it is, brother. Like out there in goddamn fucking North Korea, they're just doing damn mask mandates left and right all the time. Forcing lockdowns left and right all the time. Enforcing damn, vaccine, inoculations left and right all the time, brother. That's what North Korea's doing to their children.
He didn't cite Nazi Germany. Honestly, I thought he was going to go there, but he went to North Korea. Yes, folks, wearing a piece of cloth over your face is definitely comparable to North Korea. Do you know what it's like to live in North Korea, Charlie Kirk? You dumb
Of course not.
If you criticize the government there, they will execute you. Literally. They'll fucking execute you. So he's sitting here criticizing the government, saying, oh, this is like North Korea. No, you don't know what that's like. Thank you so much, Oddhead. Love you too. He is so hyperbolic, and I feel like he's got to know he's being a little bit of an exaggerator here, but I mean, it's Charlie Kirk.
He
so
is.
again,
I mean, he literally said it's like, here, let's, say something that will attract some headlines. I mean, he's kind of being hyperbolic, kind of purposely. Because, he knows that it will cause, headlines, or at least, get people to react to it to a certain degree, which I guess he was successful with. I mean, so, he just wants to get, reactions because, like, yeah, this, it's tyranny, on the kid in North Korea, despite the fact that it literally isn't whatsoever. So, like, it's not even remotely fucking close, like, at all. I mean, it's just, more of this whole, like, these mandates are all tyranny, the vaccines are tyranny, bruh. No more freedom of choice because we give a fuck about that now all of a sudden. It's just, like, it's so fucking stupid. I mean, it's I just, I don't even know how, like, people are, really can legitimately take it seriously, because for me personally, I just can't. I don't even know how I can at this rate. It's just too comically fucking dumb. Like, there's just, to me, as far as I'm concerned now, just no legitimate seriousness, you know, to any of their actual, like, fucking arguments at this rate.
Most cogent arguments or persuasive arguments, but, yeah.
Told. Yemeni Park, when she joined both Joe Rogan and Dennis Prager, a North Korean defector, she said, I didn't even know how to think for myself. Thinking for 10 minutes was exhausting. I had to take a nap. If you condition a generation to not be self-reliant, to not even have their own identity, it creates an entire generation.
Hey, Emo Dragon, nice to see you.
They're told regardless of the circumstances. Play cut 37.
It's very common. I mean, I hear constantly. Kids have to choose between seeing or not. I mean, and they have to follow the rules. So half the time, I think masks are not being worn properly anyway. They're pulling them down. But it doesn't make sense to choose between their vision or masking. And
What?
Because their glasses get foggy when they're wearing masks. It's literally blinding. I mean, listen, if I'm driving in the dark...
I mean, that shit's just fucking comical. Like, that doesn't, like... I mean, all you have to do is just take a little cloth and just wipe the damn glasses down. It's not even that fucking hard.
Damn. That would be an issue, but I mean, I'm not gonna wear my mask when I'm driving, but when I, get into the store and get into my car and my glasses are fogged up, sure, it's an issue, but I'm gonna take off the mask. I mean,
if you're just driving in a car...
Are so unrealistic, so hyperbolic.
Yeah. Because at that point, who cares? You're in your own car.
How are they dehumanizing? We all have to do it. These people are such snowflakes.
again,
except for me.
What is this for?
You're not gonna get a
for the pandemic, you dumb motherfucker. What else is it for? Are we just wearing masks because they're fun? These people honestly think that we love the pandemic and we love masks. And the reason why there's these mask mandates is because these insufferable liberals literally just want everyone to wear masks. It's not that people are doing it because they know that this is a necessity. No, we love wearing masks. When you see libs in the store,
yeah, it's like, one of my biggest kinks is just, having to wear a mask all the time. Oh, yes. Oh, my liberty. Oh, yes, my libness. Oh, just, let's just have mask mandates by law forever. Make it a constitutional mandate, yes.
They're just happy as clams with their fucking masks on. These people are so ridiculous. I was watching some more news, and they did the COVID is over party or something to that effect, and they were talking about Bill Maher being done with COVID. And Cody made the great point that is obvious, but he's like, listen, literally everybody wants this to be over. It's not like there are some people that are enjoying the pandemic. Nobody likes this.
No shit.
But these people are so stupid. They're so, wrapped up in their own world that they think that everything kind of revolves around them and they can't contemplate people doing something for other people, me wearing a mask for other people. So, I protect them. It's just so ridiculous.
Their answer on that. It's also for this. It's also for adults that are obese and have not made good decisions and are super afraid of getting sick, so they want to mask kids to try to make themselves feel better about it.
Oh my god, dude, what a stupid fucking take. Like, it's thinking about, if you faggots, just can't, just get their health choices right. There's a lot of various different reasons as to why, someone can be overrated or abusive or some shit, where it's just like, it's like, hey, there might be some forms of escapism, or there's genetic disposition, there's all sorts of various different reasons as to why that could be the case. It's not necessarily just because of poor health decisions and shit.
It's also for elderly people, immunocompromised people. Are we supposed to be against protecting people in society who are vulnerable? Or are we just supposed to say, fuck it, let's cough on them because they made bad decisions? What is the point of this? Are you suggesting that we shouldn't look out for people who are disadvantaged or look out for people with health issues? Nobody makes perfect health decisions. Perhaps, you may not be obese, but maybe you smoke, maybe you don't exercise. Nobody is perfect here. So, just simply being skinny or not overweight doesn't mean that you've made, good health decisions.
Definitely not. I certainly don't make the best health decisions myself either. I mean, honestly, all in all, it's just like, when it comes down to the right, especially when it comes to issues like this, it's all about like the moral failings of the individual, the moral successes of the individual. It's never about like, you know, what ought, you know, the collective ought to do, you know, to help, you know, better, you know, individuals, you know, within the collective. I mean, they don't think more, you know, nuancely and more on the balanced perspective in these type of things. Like, so when they have just like, you know, this strict, you know, like, oh, you know, we have to look at the moral failings on people and they have to fucking address it, you know, not society, all out of that. I mean, that doesn't, you know, do anything to really necessarily, you know, actually benefit or help anybody. Like, you know, you might get a couple people just because all it does, you know, maybe for those people, you know, just getting a little, you know, pep talk up the ass, you know, and getting the log on their ass a little bit and lighten it up. Yeah, maybe for some people that's all they need, but for plenty of other people, they don't, like, there's shit out of their control that can't necessarily just get them out of a situation or, you know, into, you know, predicament that they're in. I mean, and also, they just don't have any control to get out of it. Like, I mean, it's because of genetic disposition or because of immunocompromised, you know, issues or for whatever pre-existing conditions. There's all sorts of various different reasons. Like, it's not all just strict moral failing on the individual.
Just fucking let them die. I just, like, conservatives are so cruel.
There's a huge component of it. Of parents, not just parents, let me put that aside. Let's say administrators and teachers that do not take care of themselves, and they're super afraid of getting a transfer. So they want everyone else to be masked to protect themselves because they took too many trips to Wendy's.
What a dickhead. It's a pandemic. It's a fucking pandemic.
And aren't these the people that are bitching and whining that they can't go to the fucking Wendy's and shit because of the goddamn pandemic? And now they're fucking bitching at other people for going to it because, oh no, we have to keep wearing masks or some shit. It's like they can never get their fucking shit straight.
That we just wear masks perpetually. Nobody's saying that. Nobody wants to do that. But during a pandemic, when you have a highly transmissible disease, it's a good thing to wear masks to protect people. Even if, you know, you're not vulnerable or susceptible to long COVID or a serious illness due to COVID-19, I mean, don't you just not want to get sick? I mean, what a dickhead.
Destroy the kid's life so you can feel better about yourself. What do we have next?
And this motherfucker eats at Wendy's. You eat fast food. Don't act like you're better than anyone else. So ridiculous. God, conservatives are the most selfish, petulant people on the planet.
Yeah, wait, what was that last little part?
Kid's life so you can feel better about yourself.
Don't you just not want to get sick? I mean, what a dickhead.
Destroy the kid's life so you can feel better about yourself. What do we have next?
And this motherfucker eats at Wendy's. You eat fast food. Don't act like you're better than anyone else.
Wait, and also like this idea of like, oh, you know, we have to make, you know, kids wear masks and all this other bullshit, you know, destroy their life, you know, because it's like, they're already destroying their life because they're going to Wendy's too often because they're like, I mean, it just, you know, enforces my point a little more. It's like they don't have like any actual like straight fucking cohesive, you know, answer to, you know, or like cohesive, you know, argument to shit. It's never consistent. It always flip-flops like a goddamn like fish out of water, you know, whenever it's just convenient for their stupid reactionary bullshit. It's like, give me a fucking break. These sad little pompous conservatives. It's like, man, let me take their arguments seriously. So comes to be a fucking numball. I'm gonna pop a tune out here real quick. So I can go deal with him. Make sure he's not running off or nothing like that. Fucking little nut. There we go. Man, I had a little fucking ball of cocaine, I swear to God. Oh, psycho dog. Of course, he's always trying to make an attempt to make a little escape somewhere. Little psycho dork. Man, just a little fucking nutty ball of cocaine. Did you drink all your water? Did you drink all your water, boy? I don't see much water going on in here. Yeah. It's dry as bone in there. Oh, yeah, you're looking like you're a little thirsty. Now you're doing a mass over and come on, buddy. There you go. Yeah. Thirsty boy. You were just thirsty. Let's see what else is on tube. Yeah, no, there really ain't that much going on, huh? I guess it is a weekend, ain't it? I didn't know the Super Bowl's tomorrow. Gonna be working that day. I honestly wonder how busy it's gonna be. Don't really give too much of a fuck about the actual game itself. I guess it's like two underdogs going at it, so I mean that's pretty cool. But meh. Just a big old meh. Might get this last bowl grounded up and loaded up for evening. It was kind of a slow little evening for tonight. Get a little extra Z's in. Especially for, I'm sure what will probably be, at least initially, a fun fucking hectic workday. At least up until like 4 or some shit. Oh god. Ugh. But then halftime's gonna happen and then it's gonna be a little bum rush for extra food then. Oh boy. Oh no. Madness. The chaos of it all, dude. Can't fucking wait. gonna be oh so exciting. Roblox me to oblivion. Sweet Jesus, sweet baby Reyes. Sat here smoking my meats and briskets. Got Trisket and a brisket. Smoking these meats. You smell sweet baby Reyes. Zuka, Berber. I'll give him a little treat for when he returns. I absolutely can't get out. I'm already kind of hear him. Zukov. Zukov. Here, boy. Okay, you're being a little stubborn shit right now. I'll give him a sec. I'll get that little boy in a sec. I'm actually hearing Dad feeding the cats right now too, so if anything, he's probably in the back porch thinking, oh, food? Treat? But from the back porch instead. So that's probably where he is right now. But anyway, this bowl smoked up. And call it good for this nice little quiet evening. Zukov, come here. There you are, bud. Come on. Up, 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 up. That a boy. Anyway, I'll go good for tonight. So, peace out. Of course, I'll be around for that.